A mind chained to what it cannot control is a mind that never rests. Sometimes it feels like the chains are invisible, like they've been there since the moment you learned what it means to please, to worry, to hold your breath, waiting for someone else's approval. You wake up with them, sleep with them, carry them through rooms filled with noise that only grows louder when you pretend you don't hear it. They say, let it go, but nobody says how. Not really. Not when your whole identity has been built around the silent fear that if you stop caring, you'll lose everything, your place, your people, your proof that you matter. The Stoics knew better. They knew the mind is a traitor when it clings to what slips through its fingers anyway. Seneca whispered it. He who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. How much have you suffered in rooms you built inside your head? Imagine conversations, echoes of people who don't think about you half as much as you think about them. And yet, you carry their voices, their opinions, the look in their eyes that you imagine says, not enough. So you shape yourself to silence that judgment. You twist your words, soften your edges, give and give, until there's nothing left to give but apologies for being human at all. But the truth is, the more you bend, the more they push. The more you explain, the less they hear. The more you hold on, the more you prove to the world that your peace is a hostage anyone can take. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." But no one teaches you how to revoke, how to unclench the fist that's been tight for so long you forgot how it feels to open your hand. You learn it alone, in small moments, in silence. When you're brave enough to sit with your restlessness instead of feeding it with more noise. It starts the day you decide your worth is not a debate that needs a new argument every night. It begins when you stop rehearsing comebacks for people who've already left the room. It grows when you notice how tired your mind becomes, replaying battles you already lost or never needed to win. Letting go is not about apathy. It's not about pretending you don't feel the sting. It's about noticing the sting, naming it, and standing still while it fades like a storm that never had permission to drown you. It's about recognizing that the person who disrespects you owns only the space you allow them to rent inside your skull. They live there because you keep paying the rent with your thoughts, with your overthinking, with your imaginary conversations at 2 a.m. Picture it, the freedom of no longer needing to be liked by someone who cannot even like themselves, the quiet strength of refusing to chase what does not return your steady gaze. Epictetus said, "It is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them. The insult itself, wind. The rejection, a door closing on a house that never kept you warm to begin with. But the opinion, that's the storm you keep feeding. That's what ties you to the past." The Stoics didn't say, "Don't feel." They said, "Feel it, then leave it where it stands. Walk past it like a dog barking behind a fence, loud, but never touching your skin. You're not stone. You're not unfeeling. You're simply not available for battles that cost more than your peace can afford." Picture this. Someone mocks you in public. The old you burns all night thinking of the perfect line, the comeback, the speech that would make them kneel. The new you smiles once and says nothing. Why? Because you see what they don't, that your silence cuts deeper than your words ever could. Let go of the need to be right in every room. Let go of the hunger to be loved by every voice. Let go of the fantasy that if you bend just enough, they'll finally understand. They won't. Some people are mirrors cracked by their own chaos. They reflect your calm as a threat they can't stand. So stand anyway. Be the calm they cannot break. Be the stillness they gossip about when your back is turned, knowing they drown in the silence you mastered. Did you know most of what you carry isn't even yours? Guilt that isn't yours. Shame that isn't yours. Expectations inherited from people who built their own cages and handed you the keys like a family heirloom. Let it go. Let go of the story that says you must explain yourself to be forgiven. Some people hear your truth and choose to misunderstand, not because your truth is flawed, but because their fear is louder than your clarity. Zeno said, "Man conquers the world by conquering himself." That's all this is. Conquering the self that flinches at disapproval. Conquering the self that ties its calm to whether or not someone claps for your existence. No more asking for applause. No more running in circles for people who'd never take one step for you. Let them talk. Let them twist your name on tongues too weak to speak their own. You don't owe the world your noise. You owe it your calm, your discipline, your refusal to lose sleep over what slips through your fingers the moment you loosen your grip. Think of it, a mind so still. It scares people who thrive on chaos. A mind so clear, it reflects back every petty insult as a harmless echo, dissolving before it finds a place to cling. This is what letting go looks like. Not cold, not cruel, but clean. A mind unburdened by noise that was never yours to fix. A spine unbent by expectations you never agreed to carry. It's not easy, but each time you practice, each time you breathe instead of react, each time you stand instead of chase, each time you smile instead of explain, you remind yourself, I am free the moment I decide to be. So keep it simple. Be kind. Be silent when you must. Speak when your truth demands it. Walk away when the room grows too loud to hear your own mind. Remember this: no one can chain your thoughts unless you hand them the key. No one can steal your calm unless you trade it for their noise. And when the world tests you, and it will, when people poke, push, whisper your name with half a smile, stand as you are, breathe as you are, because the only approval that ever mattered is the one that greets you when you close your eyes at night and know, for once, you let go of everything you could not hold. And that was enough. That is all it ever takes. A mind clear enough to see what belongs inside and what never did.